Of course, it was too easy for them to get out of the woods that fast, but I'm trying to figure out who's going to have the title of the serial K of all times. Psycho Shauna or Loco Lottie? Hey, what's up and hello. This is the Chris Nicole bringing you my views on life, love, and the world of entertainment through my eyes. And this is my review on Yellowjackets, Season 3, Episode 7, Yellowjackets Croak. We start off seeing 3 days later, and we see a frog, and he screams and hops into a pond of other frogs having a freak session. Yes, a freak session. And then we see a man and a woman from the last episode, and it looks like they're about to cry while they're recording this freak session. Weirdo shit. We see another man looking on. I'm calling him Crocodile Dundee. We find out that the man and woman are scientists, and Crocodile Dundee is their guide to help them survive and navigate the woods. The woman's name is Hannah. She is feeling Crocodile Dundee and how masculine and macho he is versus her nerd. When they are in the tent, they bond over smoking some herb. We see that they have a mobile phone, but because Hannah and Crocodile Dundee start playing around, they end up breaking the mobile device. So at this point, the nerd doesn't trust him and keeps complaining to Hannah, but Hannah wants him. But she tells her nerd, let him do his job. The night that they find the girls, the nerd is still trying to figure out who Crocodile Dundee is, but he smells the Coach Scott barbecue and he wants to check it out because that means it's people nearby. So they hear the screaming and see the fire with the girls possessed and screaming and chanting. Hannah begins to record them, hence where the recording came from. The nerd says hello and sees Coach Scott's head on a platter. But Van is like, oh my gosh, we're going home. But Lottie, loco, demonic ass Lottie, ends up unaliving the man. And Psycho Shauna, did you notice her? She literally was smiling when she said, holy shit, like she was proud of what Lottie just did. Lottie says, they don't belong. It doesn't want them here. Whoo, Jesus, this girl is crazy as hell. Hannah and Crocodile Dundee run and these fools chase after them. Dundee hits Shauna's stalker with an arrow and she screams and says, Shauna, don't leave me. Shauna sees that she's hit and tells Mari, the nerd is unalive. Help my stalker. If she goes, you go. Lottie is over the nerd's body saying, you'll see, you'll see. Because of course everybody is looking at her like, you psycho bitch, they were here to help us. She is literally chanting to the nerd's head while she spreads his red rum all over her face. Meanwhile, in the present, Psycho Shauna is listening to the recording and Hannah on the recording leaves a message to what appears to be her child. Jeff is over being at the Motel 6 and Psycho Shauna is like, just take care of our daughter because she needs to back the F off. Callie is in the other room listening to her parents and she searches the internet for missing people in Canada. She heard that recording. Whew, oh my, oh my. Ty and Van are still in the hotel and Misty barges in and asks Ty why didn't she tell her that she saw Lottie the day she was unalive. Ty didn't want Van to know, of course. Ty says, we had a private conversation, doesn't mean that I offed her. But Van is also looking like, I don't know, bitch, because your inner demon of yours is crazy. But Van has her girls back and says, no, I don't think she did it. Ty says whoever sent the tape to Psycho Shauna is the one who offed Lottie, but Misty didn't know about a tape. Back in the Wicked Woods, Hannah and Crocodile Dundee are running and Hannah ends up losing him and runs on her own. And her hair gets caught on a branch, leaving a trace of where she went. She attempts to hide, and that's when she leaves the message for her sweet baby Alex. Psycho Shauna is leaving the Motel 6 when Ty, Van, and Misty see her at the elevator. Psycho Shauna tells the girls she left a message for her kid, Hannah. They didn't even know that she had a kid. I guess now they actually feel bad for offing her because she had a kid, not because they just offed a human being. Psycho Shauna thinks Hannah's daughter got a hold of the tape and is now trying to off them. That doesn't make sense, but okay. So Psycho Shauna is about to get her Jason on and go to Richmond, Virginia to stop the daughter. In Psycho Shauna's raggedy minivan, Misty hears the tape. Misty says that there was no mention of a child in Hannah's obituary. Psycho Shauna says it was a teen pregnancy and I guess the girl Alex was adopted. Misty says, who brought this take back from the wilderness and why would Hannah's daughter wait 25 years later for revenge? It doesn't make any sense. Yes, it doesn't, and thank God Misty is asking the right questions. Ty says, well, you accused me of unaliving Lottie 2 hours ago and that didn't make any sense. Oh, yes, the hell it did. At the gas station, Van confronts Ty about Lottie. Ty says she went to Lottie because Van chickened out to unalive that guy to make sure she improves. Van is saying, I refuse to live like that. And Ty says, well, I will live that way for you. How romantic. Back in the Wicked Woods, Ty and Van find the tent and see the phone and have a moment of hope until they see it's broken. Sidebar, did you notice that Van had more compassion for that frog in the jar versus a human being? Child, they're all crazy. Ty says at least we still have these supplies, but Van says we don't need any of it. We just need to find these people so we can go home. Too late for that. You unalived one of them. They don't trust you at this point. Travis and Akila hunt for Crocodile Dundee, and Misty says we can corner him. Meanwhile, Hannah takes the recording and hides it. Psycho Shauna finds her hair on the branch and knows she's going in the right direction. Hannah is tired of hiding and reveals herself. Natalie says it's okay, but Psycho Shauna takes her and says, you shot an arrow through my stalker. Never mind that you offed her man, though. Hannah's like, I didn't do it. Crocodile Dundee did it. Psycho Shauna says if we unalive them, someone will come looking for them and we can still get rescued. Okay, like they came looking for your team? Hannah says, I know where you can get first aid supplies to help your friend. While in the minivan, Misty finds a receipt showing Psycho Shauna went through Lincoln Tunnel going into the city the day that Lottie was unalive. Walter calls Misty saying that Shauna's DNA matches under Lottie's fingernails. Psycho Shauna is Lottie's unaliver. Misty texts Ty and Van to tell them the news and says the DNA matches. Shauna hears the texting back and forth and says, what the F is going on? And they are making excuses to try to have Shauna stop the car. Van begins to cough and Shauna thinks it's a joke until Van coughs up red rum. Back in the Wicked Woods, Crocodile Dundee almost takes off Misty's head, but he misses, but now she can't find her glasses. Crocodile Dundee goes over a cliff and is about to unalive himself, and Travis says, take us back with you, and pulls Crocodile Dundee up from the cliff. They rush Van to the hospital, and that's when Misty and Psycho Shauna finds out she has cancer. Psycho Shauna says, it seems so unfair. It's Van. And Misty says, cut the BS. You offed Lottie and there is DNA evidence. And Psycho Shauna says, she stayed at my home. She's probably covered in my DNA. But at the end of the day, Misty says, yeah, but not where your DNA was. See, it shows signs of a struggle under her nails, you crazy bitch. Psycho Shauna takes this moment to leave all of them at the hospital and she drives off. Van is in the hospital bed and some delirious man is losing it on the other side. And Ty says, I'm gonna off that guy. And Van says, please don't. And Ty's like, it's just an expression. No, it's not. Van starts to hear voices and have visions of her when she was younger. And Ty's inner demon comes to her and says that she can save Van. Back in the Wicked Woods, Lottie is still playing with that man's head and talking to it. They tried to remove the arrow from Shauna's stalker and they had to push it to get it out. Lottie's like, can I help? And they're like, yeah, no, bitch, you can't. You've already done enough. Meanwhile, they bring Hannah back to the camp. Jeff is itching in the Motel 6 and he thinks they have bed bugs. Callie comes to talk to him and says, we keep telling ourselves that mom is a good person, but what if she's a bad person? What if she is a crazy serial K biatch? She mentions the scientist disappearing within 100 miles of where the plane crashed. Callie says the tape that Psycho Shauna has is a part of that science project. And Psycho Shauna, Van, and Ty knew exactly what was on that tape. Callie says, I think we know deep down, these bitches are crazy and serial unalivers. Meanwhile, Psycho Shauna parks in front of Hannah's daughter's house. Psycho Shauna pulls out her Jason Pokey. You know she's crazy when she prefers to poke someone. And then the episode goes off. Her and Lottie are crazy as hell and they can both go to hell. I don't think it's the daughter. And they're gonna have another innocent victim added to their body count. But does Psycho Shauna care? Yeah, I don't think so. So with that being said, let me know what you thought about this episode. I would give it a solid B. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you on my next video. Toodles!